Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Control and Conquer Toro the Carnotaurus. Now, Toro, I think, is a really cool idea. The fact that we have, a Carnotaurus as the main antagonist dinosaur is really cool to see again. I mean, we haven't got that since Disney's Dinosaur, which came out in, 2000, which is... that movie's 20 years old, which... pretty surprising to me, I'm not gonna lie, but I digress. Yeah, kind of a shame we didn't see her too much in the show. It was, mainly just the Indominus Rex chasing the main characters. It would have been cooler if it was Toro, but I digress. But, yeah, anyway, this figure is actually a repaint of an existing figure that, to be honest, I didn't really care for when I saw it. It came out, late last year, and I just took one look at it and just... I didn't really care. I wasn't a big fan of, the proportions on it, and even this figure, too. It's a repaint, obviously, and, there's some things that I don't like, but, because the trailer for Season 2 of Camp Cretaceous dropped, I decided, you know what, I'll get it, just for the sake of it. So, yeah, I came home, and I wasn't too disappointed with this. This isn't a perfect, I keep stuttering, I'm sorry. This isn't a perfect figure, by any means, but, for what it is, it's not terrible, so... yeah, anyway, all that out of the way, let's just take a closer look. So, first we'll take a look at the paint. And the painting on this figure is good. I like the colors, but there's some paint apps that are just kind of, I don't know, not great. But anyway, let's take a closer look. So, of course, most of the body is this very, dark brown. And I do like that a lot. And even on top here, we have, this, very, blackish color. Sort of like a really dark shade of brown, almost black. Which looks nice, airbrushing on the back here. It doesn't really continue to the end of the tail here, just sort of stops there, which a little frustrating, but honestly, it's Mattel. It's what they do, unfortunately. So, yeah, but anyway, we do have some very faint, but we can see some dark spots throughout, which does look very nice. The toenails here are painted a shiny brown, and the fingernails aren't painted, but to be fair, the hands on this figure are tiny. There it is, with my fingers. So, to be fair, it's understandable why Mattel didn't paint the fingernails on this figure, but I digress. The underside of the figure is a nice gray, which looks very nice in my opinion. Going to the head here, we can see that the eyes are painted yellow, and the scar on her face is painted red. Again, I feel like it would have been nice if they, I know this is a repaint, but I feel like it would have looked nicer if, it was just, they actually sculpted a scar here. But, again, like I just said, it's a repaint, so it's a lot cheaper to just, just paint it. But, yeah. Anyway, the teeth are painted a yellowish-whitish color, which looks good, but the paint apps is, a little sloppy. Because, as you can see, there, some of the yellow sort of, bleeds onto the jaw. But it's not terrible. And of course, the inside of the mouth is painted a salmon pink with a nice glossy finish to it. The underside here, we have the scan code, and we have the Jurassic World logo. And that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure is quite nice for the most part. There are some paint apps that could have been touched up a little more, but for the most part, the painting on this figure is good. Not accurate to what we see in Camp Cretaceous, but honestly, I still think the colors here are very nice. So, the painting on this figure, it's good. I'd say it gets a pass. Now take a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure isn't bad. It's mainly one big gimmick, but we'll talk about that in a second. First of all, the arms. They could move outwards like so. Carnotaurus always had very small arms, and just seeing it like this just looks... it looks kind of ridiculous, I'm sorry. But, yeah. Anyway, we have some swivels in the ankles right here. Very tight. Again, I don't know why, okay, I know why, just to fit it in the box, but I feel like this sort of messes up the balance, but that could just be me. Of course, the tail here can twist and whatnot, so you can twist the head. And there is a button as well, so if we push this a number of times, we get a number of fairly accurate sounds from Fallen Kingdom, or in this case Camp Cretaceous, of the Carnotaurus, of course. And something I really like, if you push the, the body upwards, she lets out this big bellow, and I think that's really cool. The Epic Roaring T-Rex didn't have that, unfortunately, but I think that's like a really cool feature. So, yeah. And honestly, that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. The articulation on this figure is good. I like the gimmick it has, and yeah, overall, it's pretty cool. So the articulation on this figure gets a pass. Now I'll take a look at the sculpt. And the sculpting on this figure, for the most part, is very nice. Not one-to-one with what we see in Camp Cretaceous, but again, I think it does look very nice. It looks a lot like the concept art for the Carnotaurus from Fallen Kingdom. So, yeah, which doesn't look bad. It still looks very nice. One thing I don't like, however, the tail here. It's very short. And it's like very like thick too, which is accurate. Like this part is accurate. The Carnotaurus did have a very thick tail, but this length is just not ideal. If it was like up to there, I feel like it would look nicer, or maybe even like a little longer. But yeah, this little is like very short tail. Not into it. But other than that, though, the sculpting on this figure I think is very nice. So the sculpting here, I'd say gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detail on this figure is very nice. So let's take a closer look. So of course, all the detailing on the head here looks very nice. All of the scales and everything looks very well defined. And even the inside of the mouth here, all of the detailing in the mouth, all of like the creases and everything, and like the roof of the mouth and the tongue, very nice as well. On the side of the neck here, we have more scales and everything, which are beautifully detailed. Everything here is just very beautifully defined, and that nice detailing continues throughout. We have all the osteoderms on the side here, and just a bunch of nice creasings and scalings and everything, which looks nice. Even the arms, very small, but they are detailed very well. Trying not to like bump the camera, but there you go. Going to the side of the leg here, we can see a lot of like little cuts and everything, which again look great. Everything here is just very beautifully defined, very nice like musculature in the legs here, and the feet too. A lot of like very nice scaling. So that looks really nice. Going to the tail here, we can see more of the osteoderms continue, and just more musculature and creasings and everything, which looks great. We do have a seam here, but honestly, it's not the end of the world. And yeah. Anyway, that is it for the detailing on this figure. And the detailing on this figure is very good. I like it a lot. You know, usually with Mattel, like, they're not perfect when it comes to their figures. However, something they always nail on the head is the detailing. Every time, the detailing just looks fantastic. And this figure is no exception. So, the detailing on this figure is very good. So, it gets a pass. So, at the end of the day, should you get this? Honestly, I'd say yeah. Like, at Target right now, it's about like 25 bucks, which is honestly not too bad. You know, for like the price, it's like, it's a good size. The mechanisms are very good too. So like, yeah, this figure, like, one thing I will say, and I forgot to point this out, the mechanism itself, like, it doesn't really feel strong. Like, if you shake it, it just feels very, like, very flimsy. If they just made it tight, of course, like, not too tight because it needs to, like, you know, do its gimmick, but like, I don't know, to me this just feels like very like loose. If they were to make that tighter, that would be very nice, but yeah, no, this figure isn't terrible. Again, not perfect. There are some things that I do indeed don't like about it, but again, for what it is, it's not terrible. So, yeah. Anyway, for comparison, here we have the Epic Roaring T-Rex. Oh, fix the foot there. The Epic Roaring T-Rex. And the scaling here is not good at all. Even in Fallen Kingdom, the Carnotaurus was not this big. I don't know why Mattel decides to make their Carnotaur figures, like, huge next to the T-Rex, because in the movie, like, the T-Rex, like, just takes it out like it's nothing. And seeing it here, I feel like if the Carnotaurus was this big, it would put up a pretty good fight against the T-Rex, but I digress. The scaling between these two, not great, but, you know, as far as figures go, I think, honest to God, I think this figure has, like, better value, because, like, it's cheaper, and there's more to it, where with this figure, like, it's $40, but, like, all it does is this. Which isn't bad by any means, but, again, it's $40. I don't think this figure is worth it. This figure is $25, and has, like, not just this, but it also has, like, So I feel like you're getting more with this figure than you are with this figure. Again, that's not to say I don't like this figure. In fact, something I want to point out, in my review for this figure, I said, you know, if I were to, like, climb on a ladder and then drop it from, like, you know, that height, the thing would break. To be fair, a ladder wasn't really a good analogy. I don't know why I said ladder. Of course, like, no kids... someone even commented, like, oh, like, their kids, they're not going to have, like, a flying T-Rex, but... No, my point is, like, I feel like this plastic quality is just very cheap. It's very thin. I feel like it would just break very easily. And same here, like, the plastic quality here is just very, like, thin and cheap. So, like, one thing I'd love to see Mattel improve on would just to have, like, you know, thicker plastic, but I digress. Anyway, I still like this figure a lot, but as far as value goes, I think this figure is a little better. So, yeah. Anyway, here is the Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus. And I like this figure sculpt a lot more, mainly because, like, this tail is actually a pretty nice a nice length. When you look at this very, like, stubby, just very short, not good looking tail. I guess you could sort of have, like, a male and female thing, or, like, one's older than the other, or something like that, but, yeah. I like this figure a little more, but again, this figure is not terrible either. So there's that. And because we are talking about Carnotaurs, here is the Jurassic Park Series 2 Demon Carnotaurus. And let me just say, I know I made my review, like, almost 4 years ago, but, like, I love this thing. To me, this is just such a cool figure. I mean, sure, I've heard people say that this isn't a good figure, and to be fair, the teeth, they do look a little too big, and the arms aren't really proportionately correct either, but, like, just look at this thing. This thing is just pure 90s, just this sick black and red color scheme going on. It's made of rubber. Overall, this is just, like, a great figure, and I absolutely love this thing. Easily one of my favorite Jurassic Park figures ever. Right up there next to the Red Rex. So, yeah. This is a very expensive figure, so if you do want it, like, you're gonna have to fork over, like, $300, which, yeah, very expensive. But, again, this is a fantastic figure, and I absolutely love it. So, of course, here they are next to each other. And this one's a little taller, but, like I said, this figure is much better. I'm sorry, I just really love this thing, but I'll take it away now. And, of course, here it is next to the the Lost World Jurassic Park Bonebreaker Carnotaurus. I'm just kidding, I don't have one. I wish I did, but unfortunately I don't. I really want one. But I digress. For another size comparison, here it is with the Roarvors Baryonyx, and I think this is, like, if the Carnotaurus was this scale, I feel like it would be a lot better, in my opinion, because, again, bringing, like, the T-Rex here, like, in Fallen Kingdom, this is how big the Carnotaurus and, like, the T-Rex were in that movie, so again, if you were to have, like, the Carnotaurus this scale, then, like, that would be perfect. I don't know why Mattel decides to make the Carnotaurus huge, but yeah. And, of course, I have more humans, so we'll just show those real quick. Here's, I should probably get you centered. Here's Claire Deering. Again, just a massive Carnotaurus. And actually, I have the Kenner, Robert Muldoon. They actually scale up, like, a lot better together, but I feel like the Carnotaurus is still a little too big. Maybe, like, something like that, I feel like would work. And even then, like, this is fine too, but about, like, there would be a nice scale. And, of course, like how we end every review, here it is with Dr. Billy Grant. Again, just a massive Carnotaurus, and some hand sanitizer. Alright, now that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.